We frequently receive questions on different HC topics, so we decided to answer those questions and share with you. If you have any interesting questions that you want to be answered, so please write them on the comment part and we will consider them in our next videos. So let's see what's our next question. In the previous answers, you mentioned understanding industries. What role does this make to learn health and safety?
There are many different types of industries. You have oil and gas, you have manufacturing, construction, agriculture, health services, education. As many industries there, and nowadays what we experience in health and, with health and safety, actually professionals work in one industry and then they decide to move on to another industry. So there are do's and don'ts when you move between the industries, because as a person, when we learn something as a new profession, for example, we only cover as maximum 80%, for example, of some process or some profession. And simply when you go to exams, for example, there are pass marks. So you're only allowed to a certain percentage of these elements. So as a pass mark there. So when you learn some subject or some profession, so it's not possible for a human to learn everything, yeah, or to remember everything. So if you're, for example, in oil and gas, so you're mostly focused on the processes and operations and hazards and how things happen in the oil and gas industry. As soon as you move from oil and gas industry to another field, for example, to agriculture, then it's a completely different world, and completely different requirement. Regardless of your health and safety, there are still commonalities, like you still put the system in place, you still deal with the human. There are similarities, but there are also at the same time a lot of different aspects. There are many differences, and firstly, human approach is different in agriculture, for example, is different. Chemical engineering will be different. The way things happen, the way people deal with the problems are different. An industry itself is completely different, so you're dealing almost with different hazards and with maybe different approaches as well. So it's important to understand and learn these industries, how these industries work, what the requirements there. So and when you actually, where do you see yourself in the first place? Because as I mentioned, we see nowadays a lot of, because of employment requirements, you work in one industry and if your contract expires or you're looking for a job, a new job, then you end up looking for another health and safety job, for example. And you see a lot of opportunities there. So I understand, sometimes, just to get a job, we apply for every job, but that's not necessarily mean that we are professional on that field. And that's why sometimes when we are unsuccessful on the employment process, that's because regardless you have a big experience on health and safety in one field, that does not make you successful on the other field. That's why that may be another reason why we're not successful on employment when changing these between these industries. And there are, quite important things to learn with these industries. For example, oil and gas require detailed control of work processes, oil and gas engineering. So, because as mentioned, health and safety professionals need to understand the operations, because you're putting management systems in place. You're dealing with the hazards, you're dealing with different aspects of health and safety management, you're dealing with people, and if you don't know which approach is the best and what control systems are the best, what technologies is used here, how you can make life easy. Being health and safety is not just you're there to stop people doing unsafe work. So you have to be able to give options, so you have to be able to recommend best practices. So understanding industry, knowing do's and don'ts, all the bits and pieces and details, puts you in a great position when talking to people. You don't just say, no, you can't do this, for example, but on the other hand, people's got to do, they have to do the job. They have to get the things done. And so if you say no, for example, do you have a better option? So what do you suggest? At least even if you don't have a better option, do you have a strong communication and leadership skills to talk to these people and find out what could be the best option to do the job safely? So that's why understanding industry is very critical to actually work as a health and safety professional.
Thank you for detailed answers. Do you know what question comes next? Subscribe to our channel to find out the next question with us.